A plot to kill the president of Burkina Faso, a betrayal by his own family, and a dangerous gift from France. This is the story of how Ibrahim Traore survived an assassination attempt and exposed the dark forces trying to control Africa. It was a day of excitement in Burkina Faso. President Ibrahim Traore had just returned from a successful trip to Russia, where he had built new relationships, promising a future of independence for his country. The people of Burkina Faso were proud. They knew that with Ibrahim leading them, their country was no longer going to be controlled by foreign powers. Ibrahim had worked hard to bring dignity and change to the country. Since he took office, electricity had reached homes across the land, and the corrupt officials who had stolen from the people were sent to prison. The country was transforming, and the people had begun to believe in the future again. As Ibrahim stepped off the plane, his wife Sita was waiting for him with open arms. She had been his constant support throughout the struggles, and the reunion was a sweet one. But there was someone else standing nearby, Aissatou, Sita's younger sister, who had recently returned from France. Ibrahim didn't know her well, but there was something in her eyes that made him uneasy. She had always been a bit distant, and now that she had come back to Burkina Faso, Ibrahim couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Aissatou had brought a gift for Ibrahim, something from her time in France, a beautifully wrapped perfume. She handed it to him with a smile. "For you, Ibrahim." "A special gift from Paris," she said sweetly. Ibrahim took the box, smiling politely, but his instincts kicked in. Perfume, while a kind gesture, could easily hide an ill intent. He had seen enough in his life to know that gifts could sometimes come with hidden motives. He thanked Aissatou and placed the box aside, trying to shake off the growing suspicion in his mind. Little did he know, this gift would set in motion a plot that would change the course of his presidency forever. Later that evening, Ibrahim sat in his study, the perfume still sitting on his desk. He couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right about the gift. As he looked at the elegant bottle, the soft glow of the evening light reflecting off its surface, he felt an unsettling sense of unease. Aissatou had always been distant, and her sudden return from France felt more like a coincidence than a simple family reunion. The suspicion grew in Ibrahim's mind as he picked up the perfume. He had seen how Western powers had reacted to his leadership, how they had tried to undermine him at every turn. France, in particular, had always been one of the most outspoken critics of his presidency. He wondered if they were trying to get to him, to destabilize his country in the most subtle way possible. He had no reason to trust anyone who might have ties to foreign interests, especially someone like Aissatou, who had just come back from a country whose leaders would do anything to maintain control over Africa. Ibrahim decided to take a closer look. He poured a small amount of the perfume into a glass, its fragrance sweet and strong. But there was something in the air, something off. His instinct told him to examine it further. Ibrahim wasn't a chemist, but he had learned to trust his gut in the world of politics. He took a sample of the perfume to a trusted colleague, a scientist who had helped him on previous occasions. The scientist took a quick look at it and immediately ran tests. As Ibrahim sat in his office, he couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment. He had always been aware that danger could strike from anywhere, especially from those who didn't want to see Africa rise, and especially from those who had always had a hand in controlling the continent. But the idea that someone in his own family might betray him, that was a thought too bitter to swallow. Just hours later, the scientist returned with troubling news. The perfume was laced with poison. It was meant to be a slow and undetectable kill. Ibrahim's heart sank as he realized what had nearly happened. Aissatou, his wife's own sister, had been used as a pawn in a dangerous game. But who was behind it? Was it just her? Or was there something bigger at play, forces beyond Burkina Faso, manipulating the strings from afar? Ibrahim knew that he had narrowly escaped death. But the more pressing question was who would want him dead, and why? With his mind racing, he immediately called for a private meeting with Sita. The weight of this discovery was too much to carry alone. He had to tell her the truth, even if it shattered her world. When he told Sita about the poison, her face went pale with shock and disbelief. She struggled to understand how her own sister could be involved in such a plot. But as the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, the truth became undeniable. Aissatou had not acted alone. Ibrahim suspected that powerful forces, particularly from the West, countries like France, who had so much to lose from his leadership, were involved in orchestrating this assassination attempt. Sita, though devastated, was resolute. "We need to act quickly," she said, her voice steady. "The people of Burkina Faso need to know the truth. This cannot be swept under the rug." Ibrahim nodded in agreement. The people had to know. It was not just about protecting himself, but about sending a message that Burkina Faso would not be manipulated, and its leaders would not be taken down easily. This assassination attempt was just another attempt to stifle Africa's rise, and Ibrahim was not going to let that happen. The next day, Ibrahim called a meeting with his most trusted advisors. He briefed them on the poisoning plot and instructed them to begin an investigation. But he knew.
Anytime there's a positive narrative about Africans, our development, our sovereignty, you will see a situation whereby some of those persons from Africa who felt they are more intelligent, agents of the Westerners coming out to debunk it, forgetting that at a point in time, this same set of people give wrong narrative about Africans, telling the whole world we live on trees. We can't think for ourselves. We are underdeveloped. Everything about us is crude, obsolete. They are the one giving us foreign aids that is even making us breathe and live like normal humans. But today, Africa is taking a new shape, a new development. But these are some of the persons who do not want to say it. Whatever narrative we are giving out there, I believe it's time for all Africans to join hands together to push it across. I believe Africa have come of age to know what is good, what is bad, and what is ugly. Except they want to tell us that Africa is not a sovereign continent, or some of those nations they want to impoverish by all means. They are not independent. So long as they have independence, you can't force me to help me. I should be the one begging you for your assistance. So long as Burkina Faso want to be independent, they have every right to be a friend to any nation in the world. You can't impose yourself on us. And this is one thing Ibrahim Traore is trying to kick against by all means, which some of those Westerners does not want to exist. Whatever you think, drop your comment in the comment section. But I believe it's time for Africa to rise up. Please share whatever story we are bringing out, be it 100% correct or not. So long as it's the one that will glorify Africa, please let everybody share it. Enough is enough.